coming around the front.
He's right there in the front.
Wow. The windows on this van, how strong are they?
Yeah, well, that's the issue. He could come through there in a heartbeat.
Yeah, here he comes. Look at the size of him. Oh my God.
There's nothing like being circled by a hungry 1-ton polar bear. Unexpected, and in a regular van with regular windows, we are unprepared.
Get ready to turn the key. Oh, it's too late.
Whoa, shit. Big animal, mate. Oh, yeah. Look at the size of that paw.
The far reaches of northern Canada. For humans, it's bitterly cold. Today, minus 30 degrees. It's also incredibly remote, the limit of our endurance. But for polar bears, it's a playground. It's here on the edge of the Arctic you'll find the tiny frontier town of Churchill. Population, just 700. A place where polar bears and humans coexist like nowhere else, sometimes with terrifying consequences. And on this night, that risk is greater than ever. It's Halloween.
In this town, having kids walk the street at night, in fact, having anyone walk the street at night, only happens on one day of the year. The rest of the time, the residents here are encouraged to stay indoors. And that's because they have a very real and a very different kind of danger here. That's polar bears. There are more of them in this region than people.
The risk of a bear attack here is very real. On Halloween, while some men dress up with pretend weapons, many dads carry the real thing to protect their kids.
Brett, do you get nervous around Halloween time?
Not necessarily nervous, just prepared. You know, we've got a lot of people that'll be out on the streets of town, right in the prime bear season. Just to make sure that everybody's safe, we wanna overdo it. Let's go for bear patrol.
Let's do it.
All right.
Conservation Officer Brett Willock is Churchill's Protector-in-Chief. While the numbers of polar bears are decreasing, with the sea ice melting earlier than ever before, there's more of them on land, which means more of them in Churchill.
I've met a lot of people, but I don't know anyone who has got a polar bear hotline in their pocket.
Yeah, it's a different part of the job.
Brett's team is on call 24/7, mostly using the car horn and blast from a shotgun to scare them off. But with so many polar bears, attacks are inevitable. Erin Green is one of the few to survive.
Erin, it's almost 4 years to the day to a Halloween that I don't think you'd forget. Tell me about what happened that day.
Just did my normal shift at the restaurant, and there's usually a party at the local bar. Everybody gets really excited for it, and everybody gets dressed up. And then, at a certain point, decided that I should go home into my own house. And
What time was this roughly?
This was about 5 o'clock in the morning. My friend Nikki happened to look over her shoulder and said, "Oh my God, guys, there's a bear." And we all looked. The bear was coming off of the main street and running towards us. It was running, like it was just powering towards us. It looked me in the eyes and then passed both of my friends and came around and then grabbed onto the back of my head with its jaw. And so I was just, trying to punch it, and it was smacking me with its paws and then using my body as leverage to kind of peel back my scalp.
That must have been terrifying.
It was. I'm in a fight with a polar bear. That's not a fight that I'm gonna win. The white snow and the darkness with a little bit of light from the lampposts, and it just seemed like a really pretty scene. And I just, I kind of accepted this is how I die. I'm gonna die. And then I heard a voice.
It was the voice of a stranger, a retired teacher living nearby who woke to the noise and attacked the bear with a shovel. His actions saved her life. Erin suffered deep lacerations to her scalp, stomach and legs. In a critical condition, she was flown to the city of Winnipeg.
Erin, you're lucky to be alive.
I am.
What are your thoughts on the story of Erin Green? Erin Green is a lucky woman.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss that.
But it happened during your time here.
Yep. Yeah, but that's not something that we want to dwell on, right? We're in bear country. Everybody knows that. So, yeah, I guess it all comes down to the person's decision.
Which is why bear traps like this are so important. This one, only 200 metres from town, has just caught a hungry female.
Yeah, it's a little bit intimidating when you see them for the first time up close. To really, really appreciate their size and power.
The polar bears that are caught are taken to a holding facility, a kind of bear jail. Later, they'll be relocated far away from humans by helicopter.
At any one time, there are 6 of these traps out there. This one just caught a polar bear overnight. Now that will make 7 in total in the holding facility. It's getting crowded in there. Why do you get so many polar bears coming through this town?
Well, Churchill's close proximity to the Hudson Bay puts it right in the prime polar bear migration path. If you look at an aerial photo of Churchill, as the peninsula extends out, Churchill is smack dab in the narrowest point of that peninsula, which really brings the bears right into the community as they're traveling along the coast.
At this time of year, it only takes a short drive to see the polar bears out at play. In the wild, they are a magnificent sight. But sights like this are becoming increasingly rare. Polar bear numbers are dwindling because climate change is melting the sea ice where they hunt for seals. Starving bears are travelling closer to Churchill, looking for food.
Can we differentiate between, say, that pickup truck that's coming down the road and a polar bear?
Scientists like Steve Amstrup are trying to reduce the number of attacks on humans.
When the radar detects it, the camera swings around so you can verify what it is.
That's correct. And then you can watch the target as they move on the Google map itself.
That's pretty cool.
It is neat.
His group, Polar Bears International, is trialling a new radar that will spot a bear approaching and raise the alarm. But he's worried, in the near future, it may not be needed.
The polar bears up here, are they in trouble?
Polar bears everywhere are in trouble. The challenge for polar bears is loss of sea ice habitat. And a lot of people don't really understand what that means. Polar bears catch basically 2 species of seals, and they can only catch them from the surface of the sea ice. So when the ice melts, the polar bears can't catch their food. If we continue on our current greenhouse gas emissions path, we could lose 2/3 of the world's polar bears by the middle of this century, and that we could lose them all by the end of the century.
Right up. Gee. Right up. Gee. Right on the fence. Up. Right up.
Once you go far enough north, you run out of airports and you run out of roads. This is one of the only ways to get around. But I want to show you something. I want to take you somewhere because it's very important. It is what the polar bears are waiting for.
Right up, right up, right up. Pull him over.
This is Hudson Bay, an area larger than the size of New South Wales, and this is their home. The problem is, they can't get out there until it gets cold enough to freeze this entire bay over. Until that happens, the polar bears are stuck here.
These bears now are spending nearly a month longer on land and food deprived than they did just 30 years ago.
While shooting our story, we spent nearly 2 weeks hunting down bears with the help of local guide Dennis. But on this day, it's our team that's become the hunted. This is a fully grown adult male. He's gone 4 months without food and he's hungry.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're the top predator. They got everything under control. We're just a curiosity to them.
With his weight and strength, the windows on this van are no protection at all.
Get ready to turn the key.
Whoa, shit. Whoa. Hey, mate. How are ya? Look at the size of that. Whoa. Got a little too close?
A little bit too close for us, man. The thing that scared me is the window is a little bit down. You get his paw in there and that's it. Game over.
In the future, what do you see for the town of Churchill and the polar bears in this region?
It's my hope that by deploying systems, perhaps like the radar that we're testing, that we have a long-term future for polar bears and people in this area, but a safe future for both of them.